Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is Star Wars Saturdays, my ongoing anthology campaign where we take a bunch of different RPGs. This is oh shoot, I should know. I will say it in a second. I take a bunch of different RPGs, remix, reskin, or hack it so that we can tell a story set in Star Wars. There is a loose timeline, but for this game, we're gonna not so much worry about that because we're playing something pretty special. Uh, so this game is Solar Blades and Cosmic Spells. It's a game by Old School Publishing, Diogo Nogueira. It is a pretty cool heavy metal star and sorcery RPG with an old school spirit using the core rule set of sharp swords and sinister spells. That's not easy for me to say very quickly. And there's a lot of like grungy comics, pulp influences going on in this game, and of course the OSR. So there's a lot of D&D-ishness that we are folding in, which is why I say we're gonna loosely not worry so much about timeline, kind of just tell a story and have fun. Folks have already, roll stats. You can roll stats. It's an optional rule. Everybody has assigned stats and mostly built their characters. So I'm very excited to have them introduced here and also to ask some questions about the folks. So what we'll do is we'll go around the horn and have folks introduce themselves, tell us a brief bit about your character, and then after all characters being introduced, I'll circle back and probably ask just a few questions. Oh, interesting. I just found a couple pages on this. I thought completely unmarked upon composition book has some notes in it from previous. I don't know. They're gone. Let us start from the right-hand side of our character keeper, heading to the left. So, Stephen, if you could please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your character.
Sure. So my name is Steven. My pronouns are he, him. And today I'm playing Raina Veen. Raina is has pronouns of she, her, and she is an Alazamech. Um, Basically, she looks like this, right? I got the picture. And she's from a desolate lava kind of planet, and there was like a Sith cult on that planet, and um she's always been known to be lucky. um and it got to the point where maybe she was too lucky, so people started to talk and she ran away. They are after her to bring her back into the fold, and um she the by the way, the archetype I'm playing is the gifted. I'm using the gifted powers, which is kind of like spells or the force or something like that. I'm using those as luck. But those abilities are painful. There's backlash and that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that works.
Uh, cool. Yes, as I will stick to the thing I said at the top, but I do have questions. Ethan, you're up next. Please introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Yeah, so I am playing Deeg Tolgan, who is uh Zabrak, who looks very young, is not as young as they look, but is just as naive as they look. A little bit clueless, not super street smart, and is the nimble. They're good at not getting hit, which is fortunate. um, uh, they are here because they were here with another group of treasure hunters who took what they thought was all of the information Deeg had, was not, um, and found some treasure and just conveniently left them behind so they didn't have to share.
Cool. Thank you very much, Ethan. I appreciate it. Good to have you aboard again. And Undash, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Yeah, my name is Anders. I use he, him. I'm playing, I guess you would pronounce it. Uh, he's Wookiee, fairly young. He's a treasure hunter working off a debt. Yeah, he's the tough, which means he's not that great at not getting hit, but he's pretty good at taking a hit. Yeah, that's it.
Only 100 years old. I'm so excited about it. And last but not least is Sherry. Welcome. Welcome, Sherry. Tell us, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
My name is Sherry. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Alani Salt. She's like a little younger maybe than some of the other folks, only around 24 or so. She is very, very good at tech. Like she's been raised around it. That's what she does to get a little bit of money so she can go out and buy delicious food and take a nap and have time for the things she likes to do, which is mostly napping. I think she likes to nap a lot. Anyway, she's easily talked into things, but not always the most committed to what's going on. But if you need a tech person, she's very good. And yeah, that's all I need. She's here. She kind of knows Deeg, who works the best, and Raina's pretty cute. That's her mode.
So does Alani, by default, does she work gigs? Does she work at a shop that she leaves? Does she work for someone in specific in a garage of some kind? What do you imagine is when not doing weird adventures is where Alani could be found?
I think she probably has heavy duty seasonal work that she does with her family, but when it's not seasonal, like they probably specialize in stuff that has to do with, I don't know, crops or something like that, right? Like farming equipment and things like that. But but there's a whole part of the year where that just isn't a problem. And since we're doing like this mountain planet, right? I'm guessing that those are like flying things that are like going around to the different terraced farms and doing the harvesting. So it's like there's a wide range of types of mechanics that she's familiar with because of that. Does that make any sense? So
It makes
she's really
perfect
good at
sense.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was totally thinking terrace farming. So you and I are on very. So your family are terrace farmers, and you work on their tech when it's harvest time, but outside of harvest time, you just nap.
As much as I can. Yeah.
How big is Alani's family? Is it small cluster of family, or is it lots and lots of extended family?
I assume it's extended family, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So like in theory, if I wanted to, I could probably go, oh yeah, I know someone who lives not that far from here, if that makes any sense.
Yes, totally makes sense. Good stuff. Thank you so much. Alani. Huark. 100 years old. I mentioned that because you told us about it. I think that's great. Is he? We need to name our planet, friends. I know it doesn't necessarily matter, but Rich is the names mean a lot to me. So let us come up with a name. Do we just want to call it Noguera? After Diogo Noguera, who created solar blaze and cosmic spells? I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but that's how I would say
Probably,
it.
but that's a good pronunciation for a planet name.
Okay, cool. So that's the planet is Noguera. And yeah, so is Huark native to Noguera?
Well, that's a good question. I don't think so. I think he has struck out on his own. And I think there is like a small Wookiee colony somewhere on the planet, but it's not like a colony. It's like in one of the cities there's a few Wookiee families who have gathered together. Yeah, but he's pretty far away from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is he pretty far away from there because he wanted to get away from there, or just happenstance?
I think it's both. I think he's kind of wandering, or wanted to wander a bit. But then he got into debt with this gruesome Yegro as well. So now he's working that off. I don't think that's something that's bothering him that much right now, at least. But yeah, he wanted to. It was more that he wanted to do something on his own than it wasn't like, oh, I need to get away from my family. It was just that, yeah.
And then how has he responded to one of his family members trying to arrange a mating partner for him?
I think that could maybe make him avoid them more. Like, oh, I have something to take care of, and then he just hasn't contacted them again.
Ooh, wow. And then which family member do you think has made this arrangement because they want to further the line, and it's not like there's a whole lot of Wookiees on this planet, and where else are you gonna go? Which family member do you think it was that has that logic and is pushing you or trying to?
I think it was something like aunt who like badgered his parents into it. Like, oh, this would be a great match for work. You should, yeah, go talk. I can go talk to the family for you, and yeah, that sort of thing.
Oh, that's great. So an auntie who fancies herself a matchmaker.
Yeah.
Nice. That seems great. We may see that on at some point because that's just delightful. That makes me happy. Deeg, are the treasure hunters, as far as you know, off planet, or are they still treasure hunting around?
Oh, they left. They found what they were well, they found at least some of what they were looking for, enough to make it worth their while, and then left.
And we'd had a lot of conversation before we started recording that. And where did you settle on what is it that you have? Do we want to discover it and play? Were you thinking it was some kind of map? You think it was a device? What do you think?
What are we exploring exactly?
Ooh, great question. So I am pulling from the vaults of Varn, and you guys are going to be heading to sorry, I gotta find the Kennet Rock, which is the site of a nomad clan's main place of residence before they were driven out. So yeah. I
Okay.
don't know. Does that answer the question well?
Yeah, maybe I found wow.
It could be because I imagine you went to some previous place, so it doesn't have to be related to where you guys are headed this time around.
Yeah, that's true. It's just forbidden knowledge that somebody could want from me. I guess it doesn't have to be related to this exact thing. Yeah, I think okay. It was a map of where we were going, like my previous group was going, but I found something there that sort of tied in with the map I had, and realized that oh, there's this treasure that they knew about, that the people with this who used to be at this site we're at now knew about.
Okay.
And I did not bother to tell the rest of the team that, because I was starting to suspect that maybe they were not being completely forthcoming with me. it took me that long to figure that out. Eh.
Did they were they just so cool? Was there a particular one of them who seemed to bamboozle you well? Why did you
Oh,
fall for it?
maybe I just thought one of them was really hot,
Fair. Fair.
and it clouded my judgment just a little.
Okay. Was this a Zabrak or a non-Zabrak? Do you think that
Let's make it a let's just say it's a human.
Okay. Cool. I mean, it's a problem, but still cool.
Yeah.
Good. So
Just digging this hole a little deeper here.
and so you have a map to something that's tied to the Fa, the people who were driven out here, their little ancestral
yeah.
hideout. Okay, cool. I like that. That's a nice tie. Good job. Sweet. That's some good stuff on Deeg. And if you could, when you have a chance, Ethan, maybe detail out the member of that other group
Okay,
of hunters that Deeg
Yeah.
found interesting, attractive, alluring, and also
Okay.
good at talking them into doing dumb things. Good. All right, we've already talked a little bit with Alani, so I feel like maybe that's yeah, that's good. Reina. So a volcanic planet, we don't know much, not even Wikipedia knows much about the Elasmic. Are they bioorganic folks?
Yeah, I think that basically they have they're probably humanoid with widespread eyes. And they wear this hodgepodge of armor and the helmet and all of that because their environment is very harsh. So they have a rebreather to filter out the sulfur and the noxious gases, and visors to protect their eyes and that kind of stuff.
Cool. And you're definitely from another planet. How long has Reina been here, do you imagine?
So probably less than a year. She's on the run. So she's trying to stay under the radar from everybody. And this looks like a pretty good place to stay under the radar if you hook up with the right people. Like if you make a name for yourself, then it might be a problem. But
Oh, so you're looking to you're doing this current thing with these others, but you really don't want to be known.
right, yeah.
Makes sense. Cool. I like it. Good. So, we begin. So we've had some conversations about Noguera, that in typical Star Wars style, every planet is a particular environment. Like Hoth is the ice planet, the Hoth ski resort. And the planet of Noguera is a Misty Mountain planet. And I'm also borrowing from the prequels, the planet known as Kato Nemoidia, a pocket world of the Nemoidians. So many of the outcroppings, there are bridge cities. We'll say that it's Nemoidian tech that was used to create these bridge cities that span different spires that jut up out of the misty depths. And as Sherry talked about for Alani, there are a lot of terrace gardens that go on. And I do think there's probably a good amount of successful mining that takes place. And that's probably the main export of Noguera on the automated. And this is borrowing from Obi-Wan. They had these cool, like, droid piloted ships that just ferried things off planet, that had incredibly good security that no one would sneak aboard. But, Star Wars, so it's great. The four of you have you all know each other, because I don't want to do the like meet in a cantina type deal. And it seems like Deeg, you're the one who's done this kind of stuff before.
Yeah, once.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
have tons of experience. I know exactly what I'm
Tons.
doing.
You have 100%. If you do the math, you have 100% more experience than anyone else. I think. I think that's how it works. So you are headed to Kennett Rock. I will type that in the chat just so we have it. And yeah, I'll just ask the two people who have debts to Gruesome Yegro. Are you heading to Kennett Rock because Gruesome Yegro has sent you, or and you're trying to pay off your debt by doing this, or are you heading to Kennett Rock because a member of the Ka, who are the people who had been staying in Kennett Rock before they were driven out, have offered you something? So this will be a question to Huark and Alani.
Ooh. I like the idea that we were asked to go by the Ka, but then our fine sponsor called us in and said that there was something they would like us to look for them.
Yeah.
That seems more menacing that they knew about this.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. I think I maybe said Cobb. Is Kennett Rock and the Fa. FAA.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I think I said Ka several times. So anyway, the Fa are a set of nomadic families, and maybe they reached out, like Alani was the person that they originally reached out to. Deeg, when you got some of the coordinates, you realized, oh, this map ties to that, and that will be helpful. And before you guys set out, you received word from a contact of Gruesome Yegro that that she wanted to meet with you. Yes, she wants to meet with all of you. I think since both Huark and Alani have debts, that the contact informs you that Gruesome Yegro, who lives on one of the bridge cities, that she wishes to meet with whomever you're taking on your band. So even though I said we are starting off with you meet at a cantina. You meet at a cantina. You just already know each other. That's how I got around that. But you, Alani or who invited Deeg and Reyna to meet up with you to go visit Gruesome Yegro?
I'm gonna have to say it was Huark, because I think Alan is like this in her own little thing, unless pulled out by someone she knows.
Nice. Okay. So we'll say that this is a Spire Cantina. It's not actually on the Bridge City, and just for the purpose of reminding us, and also because I think the art is freaking amazing. These Bridge Cities generally look like this. I think that's a cool pick of that. So we'll say that the particular area that you're on is like, imagine if this were larger, had been flattened out, and there were a number of buildings that were all huddled together. And among that is a small cantina, place you can get some food, a little bit to drink. All of the music is piped in. There are a couple of hollow dancers, but no live dancers. And the bartender is a droid that has about 8 arms, like a spider droid. Has 8 arms. They kind of sidle back and forth to serve drinks. And Reyna, what happened the last time that you were here at this fine little cantina? I think the cantina is called the Apex.
There was someone here at the bar that picked a fight with me. I think it was probably a Nemoidian, and
Nice.
they and I ran away. I didn't want to cause any attention. I didn't want to, I didn't want the authorities called. So at first chance, I ran away. They gave chase, but I was able to slip away.
Cool. So you've Huark reached out to you to ask about coming right back to the place you ran away from. What precautions have you taken? Or are you just relying on your luck?
Um, I whenever Huark contacts me, I'm like, no, let's go someplace else. And I think Huark's like, this is the best place. I picked the place, and I'm like, ugh,
There are no
no.
other cantinas on this particular spire.
Yeah, it'd be too far. And I think I just pull up a hood and get like a dart, pull up a cloak. So I come in. I probably also, I think I'm short, and I probably also get lifts, so I'm a little bit taller and in a different cloak when I come in. So it's a disguise.
Great. Uh, good. Cool. So Deeg, um, you've only been on one expedition, so I don't imagine you're known or famous in any way, right?
No, definitely
Okay.
not.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you guys meet up at the cantina. What's the approach here, Huark? Because you know that you and Alani need to get these two to come along, and Alani's not very good at talking to people.
um, yeah, I think it's so the far, is there something specific they wanted us to do there?
Well, they want you guys to take out the bandits that are sitting in their ancestral home. That's what they want. They want drive out the bandits, so that we can return.
Hey, um, hmm, yeah, I think Quark will present this as like a righteous mission to help people in need. Not sure if that's the smartest pitch, but I think that's what he would go for. And if he notices that, oh, that's not really pulling them in, then he's also, but there's also treasure.
Nice. Nice. Uh, cool. I I don't want to come to a die roll to have PCs participate in an adventure. That is a rookie GM mistake that I'm not going to make. Um, since we're going a little more abstract here, Huark's pitch of and also treasure, is that enough for Deeg, or did Deeg show up had them at yes with you recognizing treasure map stuff?
No, I think that is enough. I think I'm like stranded on this planet now, and uh I know I have this useful information and I really want to get off this planet, so I need some money. So yeah, this sounds like a good plan.
Raina, what about you? What's your reaction when Huark pitches you this idea?
I think so. She sits down and she's like, money. How how many credits? What are we talking about? And then she orders like some food, something pretty spicy, and puts it on Horrocks' bill on his tab. And whenever it comes, it's pretty obvious she hasn't eaten in a while. She's pretty hungry. She scarfs it down, and she's, very interested in the amount paid.
Well, these bandits have been hoarding stuff there for a while. So, anything they have stolen, we can take from them. It'd be enough to pay for this for weeks, months, maybe. Kind of pushing your bowl of food a bit closer to you.
That sounds, yeah, that sounds worthwhile. I mean, how dangerous are the bandits? I mean, have they killed a lot of people in the past, or are they just holding people up and stealing it? And
Ooh, I think Hort, he doesn't really know how dangerous the bandits are, but he's going to say that they're they mostly just scare people. The Fa, they're not warriors. They need us to help them, but I don't think these bandits will be too dangerous.
We didn't have any trouble with them. We just stayed out of their way. I don't know how they are to fight, but they're not that hard to hide from.
Yeah, we just scare them. They run away. We grab the treasure. The Fa can move back in. Everyone's happy.
I love this. This is the best plan. This is so good. Ollie, how are you? How are you handling? Are you helping at all with the plan here? Do you pointing out any flaws or?
No, I hear this and I'm like a little skeptical of it, but I'm like, don't worry. I know everything there is to know about Fa technology. Once we get in there, I can turn that whole thing against the bandits. That's what I do.
Neat. Nice. Well, with everyone having bought in, we will do a Lucas style screen wipe with the four of you. Sorry, the comment in chat is this team has the highest hubris to actual experience ratio ever. You guys are great at hubristic choices, and this is good. So we cut to a couple of establishing shots of the bridge city. A few speeders fly overhead, and the four of you entering into what looks like this bridge city has been here for centuries. And so this is a very old, I'm imagining it's like a small ziggurat styled building that is actually in the middle of the bridge city, where this sinister sorceress and also supernatural being known as Gruesome Yegro is awesome. We have a picture of the bully. That's delightful. That guy looks very bullyish. This is a great pick. I just jumped to the NPCs and saw it, so good stuff. Gruesome Yegro. Yeah, I think the general layout is similar to Jabba's palace. You approach, there's a large open space, then like what could become a floating palanquin, but is more like a throne space where Gruesome Yegro is like reclined. I imagine that she has like this large glass bowl on a stand, and she reaches in to pull out these things in this viscous liquid, and the things look somewhat like eyeballs. Possibly they're like squishy, and she'll just plop one into her mouth. She is, for those at home, I'm using a picture of a night sister or a night witch from Dathomir. If you've watched Ahsoka, they are the ones on the far off galaxy planet. And Yegro, the four of you approach, and in her, yeah, I imagine that she isn't just alone. There are a number of other Zabrak who are here who serve her. Deeg, they're all pretty thick and kind of aggressive. And I don't see, I'm looking at Deeg, and, Deeg, they look, they look a little judgmental, but
kind of a
not super thick or big.
scrawny nerd. Yes.
Yeah, scrawny nerd. Yeah, so how do you handle the like derisive little comments that some of these Zabrak, they've got they're dark red, dark browns, their horns are bigger than yours, like that
Right, yeah.
matters.
No, I mean that definitely matters to to a Zabrak, even if it doesn't actually matter. I think I'm used to it, and also like I think I just like kind of keep my head down and try to ignore it, and think to myself like we're gonna find some treasure. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. We will. There's a part of me. Yeah. So yeah, a couple of the males, they make it. Oh, this is what Yegro is sending. And Yegro waves her fingers, and they quiet, and she says, "You may approach. Alani Huark, I'm very pleased to find that you are going to serve some of the Noguerans who need our help. I will fund this expedition. You can reap the rewards. The peace established is all that I wish, except for one trifling detail. I wanted to speak to all of you to ensure that you are well aware of my desire in this matter. The Fa, they have this item that sits among their dead. It does nothing for them, and it would be pleasurable for me to have it. The Fa chieftain of old has what is called a vendetta mask. It is an antique, carved from a single tooth of a sandworm, engraved with vengeance oaths in the old Fa tongue. I want this. You will bring it to me, will you not? Who are Kanalini? Yes?
Yeah, of course. If we find it, I mean, we maybe the bandits sold it. We don't know if it's still there, but if it is, we'll bring it to you.
I think you misunderstand. You will find it, and you will bring it to me.
Um, uh, okay, I guess.
Hot wind begins to blow. She doesn't raise her hands or anything. There's just this hot wind that seems to cascade from her. I don't think it bothers you over much right away, but it is odd. Raina, it feels very unsettling. Whatever is on this warm wind that just came from gruesome Yegro, your eyes start to water a little bit. Feel that like little rise in the gorge in your throat. Like you might be sick. Maybe. What do you
Yeah.
do?
I think I step back from the rest of the group, kind of into the corner. Basically, like I'm ready to go. I'm headed back towards the door. You know, just kind of cowering a little bit back there. Like, nah, I don't want any part of this. I think I'm going to tug at Alani a little bit. Like, it's time to go, and kind of step back and, you know.
Okay, I will do what I always do when my uncles are asking me to do a thing. I will pull out my pad that I keep my notes on. I will make a show of writing down what it is, and I go, okay, vendetta mask. And I'll give her a thumbs up. Like it's on my list.
I am sure that you will not disappoint me. And she gestures for you to go, reaches into the bowl, pulls out, pops a odd feature into her hand. And Raina, that rising of your gorge, it seems to abate when she casually waves for you to go. But you feel Yegro's eyes on you, Raina. She's watching you. She's aware of you now.
I knew this was a bad thing. Shouldn't come.
It'll be fine. She's just, like a bossy aunt. That's all.
Bossy ants are the worst, but you heard what she said. What she said. She's not going to be disappointed. So there's no problem.
Nice. Sweet. Alani, tell us a bit about the conveyance that you have procured from either your family or from gruesome Yegro. Is it a speeder? Is it some kind of
Goodness, no, we're going to be hauling away a bunch of treasure, right? So I've got a good agricultural truck, like lift is essentially what it is. It's like it can hover, it can fly between the peaks and stuff like that, but it's meant to carry stuff. And it's like, got like you can pull up a cage around it in case it's stuff that would fall out, and it has mesh, and it has a bunch of belts and compartments and stuff like that in the back. But it's got just this kind of cabin where the four of us can get in there like really close. And the rest of it is like just a pickup truck from essentially, but I mean it's a big one. So essentially her eyes are filled with hope, and we will do good.
nice, filled with hope, and also wearing goggles because
Exactly.
seems like a goggle wearing kind of girl.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. As you guys start flying over the misty land beneath you, you see the yellow outcropping of rock that is Kennet Rock, Khenet. It's a bit rounded from age, but you can also see that built into the rock, carved into the rock, So it's not on top. It's actually built into the rock that's above the mist. There is an opening, a narrow passage cut into the rock that leads to a door wide enough for a single person. But there may be other ways to enter it. There are no guards set about, but you have been told by Alani, you've been told by the Fa who survived that there are bandits who've taken up residence there.
Okay. Well, if there's bandits, then I'll make sure that like I put a boot on my vehicle here so they don't steal it.
Where you're going to park the boot? Like it's a speeder, and
Right.
as we've seen a few Star Wars things, that a speeder will just sit and idle, floating above. So you could, I guess, based on that, put the truck and then just hop off the truck onto a part of the rock. But imagine rising from the mist is this yellow, rounded, big piece of rock, like the top of a mountain, and then an obviously cut passage, but possibly other methods to enter.
Yeah,
What do you want
I
to do?
mean, you would tether it to a rock that you have a passage to that passage to. So yeah, and I've got rope and stuff like that, so we can rope down if we need to. It'll
Okay.
make it because you can call it then when we get all of our loot. It's okay. No. But it's up there so that it's a little bit less convenient for someone to steal, which means it's a little bit unfun for that initial few steps for the rest of us. But once we're in there, not too bad.
Okay.
That's my theory.
I like that theory. Amazing. So you guys all hop down to the small walkway where you can walk up to the doorway, or there is a door wide enough for a single person there. Who's leading the way to the door?
I am. I'm the most experienced person here. I know what I'm doing.
Awesome. So why don't you give me an intellect roll here, Deeg? I'm gonna set the difficulty at a 3.
Okay. It's a D20 and I'm rolling under my score, but over 3, right?
Exactly. So
Okay.
I just want to stick in a roll, and also it could be a fun and dangerous thing. Oh,
17, which is well under my 14. Or well, over my 14,
I was
sorry.
going to say.
Yeah, over, wrong word. I failed miserably.
Amazing. Cool. So you start tromping up to in the atrium. This is it's been hewn into the rock. It was a long time ago, so it's pretty damp in here. And as you approach the door, oh, interesting. Okay, cool. So as you approach the door itself, you see that it's not a key-coded door. It just looks like a door where you push a lever down, open it up. It's been affixed. But you happen to you head up to the door. It starts to open when you push down the lever. It opens up just perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever. When you open up that area, it opens into a three-way passage, and I will, having no other way to communicate the information, I'm just gonna share a bit of a map with you. Yeah, there we go. So you guys came in through here, past this rocky outcropping, kind of hopped off, walked inside, opened up the door, and there are 3 passages. The area here, there's trash here. You see that there is the mark, bloody mark of where a body likely fell, but the body isn't around anymore. And there are currently no people up ahead directly, because you would be able to see that from your vantage point. You see that there is an area that's open to the sky in the central, and there are some plants, like a small little garden of some kind. It must rain down in there and get enough sunlight for things to grow. But from your current standing point, you're not sure that both right and left passages like cut left and or right deeper into. So Deeg, what do you wish to do?
I think I'm gonna go. Well, someone went left and died, apparently. Directly ahead, obviously there's some damage, at least to the roof. So maybe it's caved in. So let's go right.
All right. So you head to the right. You head to the right, and Huark, Deek seems to know exactly what they're doing. Like, they head in, they look around a little bit, boom, they're heading right. Like, very confident. You've put your fate in the correct hands.
Yeah, I think I kind of keep watch in the other two tunnels or passages, and kind of wave Alini and Reyna on. See, they don't even have any guards here.
I think as you wave me on, I look pointedly down at that bloody section, and I'm like, you said that these bandits, like, jumped people, right? I mean, they could jump us from here. This looks like a good place to jump us.
Then they would have done it by now. Just follow D.
You're not making me feel any better.
Alani, you hear a bit of chatter between Reyna and Huark. Deeg's leading ahead. What are you doing?
I think I sort of stopped because I've seen the bloody thing there. I do know thought technology. I took that as my subject matter. So do I see anything in this entrance that would have been a protection from the Fa building, or if that makes any sense?
That sounds great. Here's what I'd like for you to do. Let's have you make an intellect roll, but you get to do it with a positive die, which is like rolling with advantage, but it has a different name because that's what they call it in this game.
So I'm rolling 2d20?
You're rolling 2d20. Because of your skill set, you're getting the positive die. I'm going to say, because you're specifically looking around, we'll say the challenge rating is a 2. So you need to roll higher, higher than a 2, but lower than your intellect, which is pretty fierce at a 16.
Okay. So I rolled a 9 and a 5.
Oh, those are both successes.
Yes.
And the way that
You want is the 9
range,
is better.
Yeah, you want the highest possible.
Yeah. So
That it's still under. That's a fantastic success. Here's what you notice, Alani, is that as they're starting to move ahead, you know that the Fa, they have within, it's not necessarily unique to them, but one of the things that they have, maybe you've even fixed it, is they have a portal warden or warden. It is a sentry gun that should have been set up here, but you can see the little like bolt holes. It's been pulled up. It's been removed, and you don't It doesn't look like it was destroyed per se. It's probably been picked up and moved.
Oh, I set up and I go, hey, hey, hey. The bandits may have picked up their portal warden and moved it somewhere. So before you go around a corner, like flash something that's not you out there and see if something happens, okay? I'm guessing that's what it is.
Good
It
thought,
sees
yes.
movement and fires at it is what it is. Okay.
Yes, it sees movement, and then it's a simplistic like type 4 droid. So it's been taught to recognize certain people, the
Oh.
FA. And if the
Mhm.
FA person walks in, it doesn't activate. If a non-FA walks in, it activates and fires on them.
But this would have been a problem for the bandits. So
Uh-huh.
it's probably been reprogrammed if it still is in working order.
If they have somebody smart enough, if the bandits have somebody smart enough to do that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, just to check, that'll be a thing that'll block us at least. And then she goes, and then we can figure out what's going on with it if we can get behind it.
Okay, so you guys have that brief conversation, and Deeg, are you still leading the way? Still heading on to the right there, to the next room?
Yeah.
What's the plan? Give me a little flavor here.
I think my plan is to like find this and get out as fast as possible. I don't want to spend a lot of time here.
Fair.
You know, there doesn't seem to be any bandits here right now. They might come back. So I think I'm like trying to like, okay, come on, let's go. Let's not fool with the gun. Let's, you know, this is maybe not the best approach, but it is an approach.
Awesome. So Deeg, you're leading the way, and you happen to peek around this corner. You see a couple of things. You see that there are 2 exits out of this room, and I'll describe the room in a second, but you very much see that there is a sentry gun set up. There is a red light that comes on, and it starts to move in your direction. What do you do?
Oh yeah, I just like dive back behind the wall, like, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
So what you saw in that room is that it was a storage room of some kind filled with dried goods, various supplies, spare ropes, sandals, clothing. This is where the FA stored all of their, not their personal belongings, but belongings for scaling heights, you know, longer food storage, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It does not fire when you duck out of the way, but you all hear the little whir of it powered up.
Interesting.
Okay, maybe not quite so fast.
Yeah. So is it mobile? I think
it is not. It's called a porta thing in that you can port it to other places, but it is a sentry turret effectively.
Okay.
You set it down, you bolt, like the FA had bolted it near the entrance so that it was stable and wouldn't tip over. But you saw where it had been unmoored, and it evidently has been moved into this other room and set up.
What things will it fire at? Anything moving? Like, is it sophisticated enough that if we had like a tarp or something, would it fire through the tarp?
Ooh, that is a great question. Let's see. You can, again, this is FA technology. Let's have you make another intellect roll here.
Okay. I'm gonna ride this pony as far as I can.
We'll say it's a difficult, it's a little more finite info. So we'll say it's a challenge of 3.
Okay. Is it still the 2d20?
It is. You still get a positive die.
11.
Okay, which of the 11s would you rather use?
I would prefer to use the second 11 because it was
Okay.
the confirming 11.
The confirming 11. Yes, the confirming 11 gives you the knowledge that this is it's a. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to remember. Is it the Type 4 droids? This is where I'm asking Steven and Dash. Type 4 droids are like the load lifters. They're considered in no way sentient. So, in answer to your question, this being a very low cognizant droid, you feel pretty confident that if you had a tarp of some kind, it would not recognize that there is a bioorganic walking past this thing because it uses mostly ocular sensors and does a comparative against a very limited database. Is the thing moving bipedal? Is it organic? Well, this would be a tarp. You think it would work?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I essentially suggest that. I know we have climbing equipment. We probably have some basic like tent stuff, kind of thing. So we'll do a little craft project maybe in the hallway there, and get something that should cover that hallway. Like we can sort of push it out there and then get behind it, and then I will see if I can figure out some way to rig it on the wall in front of that sentry so we can move through there, if that makes any sense.
Wait. It takes you guys a little bit to whip up this solution. It feels very. I just love this like Home Improvement meets Mr. Wizard solution here. It's very great. I'm definitely a fan of it. Raina, you get a bad feeling as you guys are about ready with this like slightly framed out canvas thing that you can move in. You're starting to get a bad feeling. It's not coming from this immediate area. It's like you feel something approaching. And you get a flash of insight, and you see that there are some pretty hard looking individuals on a land speeder. It's zipping along the mist. What do you do?
So I think, I think I turned to Alani, and I'm like, Alani, you're the smart one, Thanks for figuring all this out, but this is really dangerous work, and I think we might. I'm afraid they're coming back. I mean, I didn't hear anything yet, but I think they're coming back. You know, they're going to be coming after us, and yeah.
She goes, okay, so then what it is we're going to get a hold of this droid. We'll move it back out so it's at the entrance. If these are the bandits, they're probably used to just walking right in. Okay.
Oh, do you think you can reset it so it'll shoot at them?
I can put it at the door and make sure that it's looking for Fa, and if they aren't Fa, it'll hit them.
Okay.
I'll just put it to factory defaults. Well, Fa factory defaults.
So that means it'd still hit us.
Well, yeah, but we're not going to be there. And when we come at it next, we'll be behind it. And we have the tarp trick.
I'm glad you came with us.
I'm glad you came with it. This is fun.
So, who is carrying the tarp trick into the room, the long-term storage area?
I'm probably the tallest, I think. I can hold it up.
That sounds good. Then let's give you definitely have an advantage here. And I don't think the role is if this particular thing works. I I think you start coming in with. I'm just imagining if there were just a couple 2x4s to give it some kind of frame so it's easier to
Yeah.
carry. I've magically given you Star Wars 2x4s. I don't know if that exists in Star Wars, but you have it now. When you head into that area, Huark, you and I'll share screens because I think having a little sense of space. So you start headed this way, and there's a couple of moments of like, will this work or not? But the thing, you can hear it whirring, but it never fires on you. And then when you move a little deeper into the room, it still hasn't fired on you. This is working. However, Huark, and one person is behind you that can also get a glimpse at this over your shoulder. Who do you think that is, Huark? Who's right behind you? You're not screwing them. You're just giving an opportunity to see something.
Deeg, I think.
Okay,
Because
cool.
she's they've taken point, so I think they're the one who's with.
You both, to your left, see someone has scooted down here, and they have a blaster rifle, and they're taking aim at you, Huark, as you're holding this thing. So yeah, they're gonna shoot you, and you are holding up the tarp. They've been sitting and waiting for this, evidently for a little bit. Like they've got a little half-chewed food bar of some kind. They've just been chewing on this food bar and waiting for you guys to come around. They're wearing a little helmet. Huark, what do you do?
I think from the way that looked, I think if I move towards the turret thing, then the person with the blaster rifle can see me, right?
They're waiting for this right now, and you're not sure if they've clocked you per se, but you are pretty wide open.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just going to I spot them, and then I kind of throw myself forward, holding the tarp in front of me, and try to like knock the turret over with the
Okay.
tarp over
So you're just
it.
charging the turret. That's amazing.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
get out of the line of fire, but
If
like
we
knock
cover
down
the turret with the tarp, the turret won't be able to see anything.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's true. All of this is true. Please give me an agility check, Huark. And if you are successful, then you're not going to take damage because they fire at you. Blah, 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 blah. But you're trying to run out of the way, so let's see how that goes.
My agility is 11. What's
Okay.
the difficulty?
We're gonna call it a challenge of 3. So you need to get higher than 3, but an 11 or less.
Yeah. Sure, that could work. I roll an 11. Is that good?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That is as good as it gets because it's as high as you can possibly roll.
Oh yeah. Cool.
And there was actually a really good thing that happens when you do that. Critical success. Critical success when you roll the exact score of the attribute tested on the D20. This means the task attempted is accomplished extremely well, and further benefits may be gained according to the Overlord's judgment. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to award you a luck point, Huark. So if you take a look at the overall luck, your max right now is a 4, and your current is a 4.
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah. Blaster rifle rings out. Reyna, Alani, Deeg, you caught this, but Huark moves so fast, he just runs over and is rushing right at. And you could throw the tarp over top of the sentry if you want, Huark. All right, done the thing. Deeg, pieces of wall explode where Huark was. And then the guy, Rodian, wearing a pair of goggles and then the helmet, is now rotating the gun around to sweep and see if there's anybody else. What do you do?
I would like to shoot them.
Awesome. In combat, yeah, I should have determined initiative. So let's do that. All right. We did a surprise round, and that happened. So order in which the combatants act around surprise, player characters make an agility test. If you succeed, roll a number higher than the opponent's HD. You act before that opponent. Yup. That's a thing that I'm completely prepared to provide you. This opponent's HD. Here's this part of the game I'm making up. Gotta say that out loud, shit. Awesome. So go ahead and make an agility test, please. It's just straight up. I'm not worried about the challenge because you're going against others.
16.
Yep. And
which is my agility. Good.
Okay, awesome. That's perfect. The HD of these person 2. He is a 2, so he's gonna go before Huark's already kind of done his thing. So who was 2? Deeg is a 16. Reyna?
I'm a 12 and my agility is an 11.
Okay. And then Ani? Oh, you're talking on mute, Sherry.
Hold on. I have to look to see what my agility is, though. So my agility is, I can read it. It's 14, so I'm fine. I'm super fine.
Would you roll? I didn't hear what you rolled.
I got a 10. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's no problem. All right, so Deeg, you go first.
Cool. Yeah, I think I would just like to shoot them with my blaster.
That sounds amazing. You act in order of initiative. So you can make a movement and perform an action. And your action would be rolling to hit. So yeah, a ranged attack.
Now I'm confused as exactly what my ability here. That's an easy target. Instead of needing a full combat round to aim a shot, the nimble can forego their movement in a round to get the same benefit as someone aiming for a full round.
Ooh, interesting.
I'm confused at what aiming for a full round would be, how that would be different from what I'm doing.
So aiming, what that does, it gives you a positive die. You get to roll with advantage. So what that's saying is you get to roll with advantage as just part of your deal. So let's see. So you're going to be making a test, and unfortunately the ranged attacks are written to compare against the melee, so I have to know one to know the other. But attacks made with a ranged weapon follow the same rules from attacks with melee, but the test is made against the combatant's agility. We're going to say that the combatant's agility test with difficulty determined by the powerful opponent rule. That's fine. If that applies, and it doesn't apply. If the roll equal to or below their attribute will also overcoming the difficulty, they hit and inflict damage according to the weapon. Okay, so rolling higher than their agility means you miss. So please roll agility. The target he's prone, so he's a smaller target, but he's also not moving, which makes him slightly easier. Therefore, I'm going to say it's a 3.
Okay.
So you need to roll lower than equal to your agility or higher than a 3.
Okay, and advantage is just 2d20.
Correct.
Take the best one.
Pick the highest one that's still under your agility.
Okay. Highest 12.
Okay, a 12 is under your agility, which is a 16. So yeah, go ahead and roll the damage for your ranged weapon, which
1d6.
It's a blaster.
-1.
D6 -1, but you always do 1.
Okay.
And you do 1.
I did 1.
Cool. Yeah, I think what happens is you fire and it hits near the weapon, and the hand that they were using to hold it. I imagine they're a left-hander now. I've decided they're a left-hander. There are not enough left-handers in my RPGs, so they're 15% of the population of Star Wars, I'm sure. Anyway, hit him in the right hand. He screams out in a little annoyance there, but he has not fired back at you yet. Raina, you rolled higher than your agility, so you don't go next, but Alani does. What would you like to do, Alani?
Oh, dang. She has a gun as well. So I think I'll try that. I have a refurbished pew pew.
A refurbished pew pew sounds amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a 1d6. So I probably won't take the time to aim for a round. That sounds like something you do when you're lying in wait. So it's just a straight 20 and it's on my agility.
Correct. So you need to roll higher than a 2, but lower than or equal to a 14.
Okay. I can try. I mean, it's a die, so who knows what's going to happen.
Who even knows?
I got a 3.
Wow.
So just high enough.
Nice. Yes, roll that damage. So you're using a refurbished pew pew, and that's a d6.
Okay. I rolled 5.
Wow, your refurbished pew pew it definitely hurt. What does that look like? He kind of swipes his right hand, then you dial in, and I think you hit right on the helmet. But it also hits him in the head. Like I think it hits him like around right above his eye. It is a lot of damage. 5 points of damage is a lot. So that sucks for him. He would go next because of the difficulty of him having HD2 and Huark rolling a 2. So he is gonna fire on you guys, but he actually is going to have to roll with a negative die because he got hit hard by y'all. So here we go. He's gonna fire at the person that just hurt him. That is Alani.
Oh no!
I know, but
I'm so cute. Why would he do that?
He's just not into you.
Everyone likes me.
You shot him. All right. So opponents just need to roll over your agility.
Okay.
His agility, and your agility is a 14. So he's rolling with disadvantage. And one of those would definitely have hit you. But the other does not. It's weird because the NPCs have different rules to hit than you guys. But I made sense of it. And he missed because he was rolling with disadvantage from getting hurt by that last shot. And Raina, you've just seen there's a blaster fight going on back and forth between one Rhodian wearing a helmet and your compatriots. What do you want to do?
So first question, does Huark go before I do?
Huark
went before?
Well, that's a great question. Huark actually should go before you because you failed of the agility, so you go last. Sorry. Okay. It's just that Huark rolled the same, but the bad guy went. So yeah, Huark goes. Thank you for asking that question.
Cool. I think like I leave the tarp over this over the turret, and I see Stig and Alani are firing at this person, and they're not firing back anymore. So I pull up my Vibrax and just charge into that tunnel, and if there's anyone else there, I'm going to chop them, and if there isn't, I'm just going to chop at this person who was lying there.
That's amazing. That's going to go badly for them. Let's have you roll. So now you are doing a melee attack. Mm-hmm. So you are actually testing your physique.
Ooh, that's good.
And so you need to roll a 2 or higher and underneath your physique, which I would imagine is good for you. Oh no, interestingly enough.
But
it's only a 16.
2, so it just barely hit.
Is barely hit. roll your damage, which is, oh wow,
1d6
d6 plus 1.
But then I also do another +1 from Feel the Pain. All melee damage inflicted by the character is increased by 1.
Then you have killed this person. You could still roll the die if it makes you feel good. Tell us what that savage blow looks like.
I do 6 damage. Yeah.
Nice.
I think it's just I charge in, and I see them there, and I chop them. Just plant the vibro axe right in their back. It's nothing fancy. Just making sure that they are not getting up.
Yeah, they let out a scream.
Or actually, sorry,
Oh, oh.
I just thought of a cooler thing.
Oh yeah, do the cooler thing.
Yeah. We just see the camera. The camera doesn't see this person. It's just the tunnel, and Core charges in, and you hear the chop, and then the head just rolls up.
Ah, I love it. That's great. That's way better. Good job. Good job. Yeah, you run in, and that you realize as you do so that from where you're standing, you are now looking at that little area that was open to the sun. So it's just this person must have been somewhere around this area. They crept in and were hiding here to fire on you guys. So you've got another egress out this way, and then looking from this central area. It looks like this is purposely open to the sun, like their little garden of some kind. And yeah, so you've killed this guy. You don't see any reinforcements as yet. What do you wish to do?
So Ren is actually going to run up to the guy, like collect the head, and then, pull the body back into that area where the garden kind of is, and kind of hide it. But, I think I'm going to take off some of the clothing and stuff like that. Who wants to wear this stuff? Huark and I probably can't, but yeah. I think I turned to Alani, of course. Alani's the smart one, and we want to make sure she doesn't get hit. So I'm gonna, say, here, put this goggles on and this hat and everything, and they might not shoot you, or the gun might not shoot you if it sees that you're wearing their outfits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I start to put it on, and they're like, ooh, because it smells funky. So, I will take out some of my mechanical, like the things that are for cleaning the grease off of things, spray it. Before I put it there.
So I have a suggestion. I'd like to make a luck roll to see if there's a communicator on this guy.
Ooh, I love that idea. Roll a d6.
It's a d6?
Okay. You want to roll add or below your luck.
Okay. I rolled a 6, so I rolled above.
Okay. So what that means is go ahead and reduce your current luck from a 3 to a 2. And you search and find a comm unit. And the comm unit goes off. Weeg, did you get him? We're almost there. Weeg, did you get him? Confirm.
And I think yes, confirm. Click. I think I look at the rest of them like,
and yeah, just looking at time, I think that's a good place where you guys, yeah, you hear the whoosh of a land speeder, and yeah, their company coming. I think that's where we'll stop this session. Yeah. So this game has XP, but we're only playing 3 sessions, so you'll make a level after next game. That way you get to do cool level stuff. Is that cool? Fun. Awesome. Good. So let's end as we normally do with a little bit of stars and wishes. Who'd like to go first with wishes? We start with wishes so we can end with stars.
It's a dungeon delve, so I'm like super not sure what we're gonna see, but I'm hoping that when we get down to that place where the dead are, that it's super spooky. And not because of anything the bandits that have done, that just it has become super spooky in the way.
Nice. I like that.
Cool.
And it's the spooky season, so that's a good idea.
Spooky is good. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, stars for Stephen for the idea of like,
Oh,
this
what do you
character's a
do with stars?
four-shooter and is completely oblivious. Oh, sorry. Wishes first, then stars.
Wishes first, then stars. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
like,
Yes, wrong order. Usually
all
it's the
good.
other way.
I have a wish.
Yeah, I don't know how. But like, I would like to see these characters' complications come back to bite them. Although, during a delve, that could be complicated, but at least thematically related things to their complications.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's mechanical reinforcement for wanting your complications to happen, which is something I really like about this game. Cool. Thank you, Ethan. Undesh, you started to throw one out as well?
Yeah, it's just if there are like vehicle combat chase rules or something, I'd like to see them if the opportunity presents itself. But it's not super important.
Fun. It's a fun. These are wishes. I like it. Vehicle combat. Okay. Cool. Steven, what about you?
So I'm struggling a little bit. I think that my complication could come in because I'm wanted, so they could have a wanted poster or something like that, or a puck or something. So that would work out well. That I'd like that. And I think I'd like to engage a little bit more with the mechanics, but it's a little bit weird, dealing with that. Because it's hard to figure out exactly how to get that to fit. So I guess that's a wish for me, is to figure out how to get my stuff to fit a little bit better. But I think you did okay. I'll roll into stars. I think you did a good job with the senses, like giving me like, oh, here's someone coming in and all of that. So I think that helps, and that's what I need to key off of.
Good. Thank you. I'm glad. I was trying to make things lucky for you, but also a little weird and force powered. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Stephen, for that star. Undesh, any stars you had?
Yeah, this was fun. I feel like this is because I was in that previous series of OSR games. I think I like this one so far better than all the ones we played there. This seems more interesting, more together. Yeah, it's interesting. I think you made the right choice to make this one the longer series.
Yay! Glad.
And
I agree.
love
And
all
I'm
the
glad.
characters. That's just a star to everyone for these cool, incredibly over optimistic characters who are way in over the rest.
It's amazing. Thank you, Adesh. Ethan, any stars? You threw one out already, so don't feel like you're obliged.
Yeah, I also like these just obliviously optimistic characters a lot. I like everybody sort of leaned into that, and yeah, that's awesome. I like it.
Cool. Sherry, any stars still left out there for you?
Yeah, I think well, the characters are really good, but I really like that we're kind of very naturally falling into our roles, just because of course it's clear sort of what you do. This is one of the nice things about OSR is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you got a shtick and you better stick to it, at least in the beginning. But the other thing that I like is sort of the different emotional roles that we play, in the sense of, like, Raina is the sole voice of caution, and and Huark is the person who, you know, does the big push, the big actions, the let's go forward. And yeah, it's just really fun to see. And Deke is like the one that knows. Yes, it's just fun. It's good. I'm liking it a lot. So, and you did a great setup.
Thanks. Yes, I really like that Ethan's character has been through one of these and is therefore the expert and just owns it. Yep, I am the expert. Might as well be. No one else is going to be the expert. That has amused me and is pretty great. Looking forward to more of this. Looking forward to once we get our like feet wet with a dungeon delve, which this one won't take the next entire session. He says, hoping that comes to be true. We'll move out of that into more free range gaming. But this is a good start, and I really appreciate everybody being game and excited to do a bit of that old classic, old school stylings. Good. With that, we'll bring the recording to a close.